Hello there. How are you doing, guys? Quickly, let me check some stuff before we start. By checking some stuff, I want to post this on the social media as always, so people maybe can come and see what is happening here. We have a phone and stuff like that. Okay, should be all good to go. You see my new, it's kind of not new, but this intro screen, really happy about that. Let's open terminal. Okay, we are not able to see it. Give me a second. So this is kind of, well, it's not clickbait because we are detecting actual keylog. However, it is not malware. I will be referring to the thing that we have discovered last time. So if I go to the Red Canary Red Team, was really inspired by the last stream, and then I was checking the Red Canary stuff, and indeed they are this exact technique is as a one of the test. Actually, let me show you the screen. Okay, cool transition. So this is like the atomic test for this exact technique. So this would be utilizing actually this command. However, we are not, I don't want to install PowerShell on this Linux that I have here. So this is Red Hat 7.9. This is developer subscription or edition or whatever you call it. Yeah. So how last time I showed how this keylogging actually works. So basically utilizing this library, which is spam tty audit.so. Basically it's going to log all keystrokes for the selected user. I was thinking about, so after I shown this stuff on the stream, I was actually thinking about use case for it, right? So the one case you could think about is to actually detect this, and the other would be to set up the user, honeypot user, that you are going to to have in your environment. No one is going to be using this user, and you will put this keylogging on this user, and you will, of course, you will alert every time this user is interacted with, and then you will have an extra keystroke logging, which is going to provide you more than, because by default command line logging is not existent in Linux. You need to kind of configure auditd or use some third-party application. So logging the keystrokes for this particular user, for example root, could be beneficial, but not every user, maybe some key users, or this honeypot user, right? So you want to change those two files. And you want to add this line at the end. Of each file. So, and then let's actually first do that. Okay. Need to copy this link so I have it on the other screen just for the reference, so I don't screw up. If you guys have some questions, some comments, nice comments, or I don't know, something I can tell you and you have a question for, you can always ask me. Detection engineering related preferably, alright, because this is the thing I like to do. Or we can talk SOC, blue team, cybersecurity in general and stuff like that. Linux. Okay. So let's edit the first file. Let's become a root for this. Yeah, cool. And let's edit the first file. Okay, so I have it enabled actually. Let's actually change it. Let's change it to this. So it's going to enable it for everyone and log the passwords. I didn't see this passwords logging. So let's see how it looks like. And let me post the line in the chat and the files that you need to edit. Let me do the save reboot because I want to see how it looks like after you log into the system. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you don't have to do this, but So if you're like following my streams or stuff I post, you probably are able to see the first kinda detection opportunity we had. So you look for the modification of those files. However, the false positive here would be the administrative work. And the downside here is that you are not able to see what is being added to the file. Basically, what modification was made to the file. You see only that the modification was made. If you build this logic correctly, for example, making that both files needs to be modified within some time, then you would need to adjust in what time frame I want to see those two being modified. Or it's kind of like the sequence based detection, which I'm not really fan of. How would you like avoid this? If I did, in the end, you want to detect every changes made to those files. To be honest, that would be the best way, because I can modify the first file today and the second file 3 days later if I'm like really patient and thinking about being stealthy. Okay, so let's see what do we have in our search. Or maybe let's become a root. So what you want to see is TTY events. Let's make it better and let's do the type. I'm pretty sure I could use like different stuff here for, I mean different switches for the our search command. However, it's not bad. Lots of events. Lots of events. TTY, user TTY. Okay, so you can see this stuff. I was when I was editing this. Me rebooting. Oh, yeah. It's not really that nice to read, if I'm being honest with you guys, because of those characters, those non-printable ones. Left. Yeah, but basically you see how everything that I have typed interested in this user TTY because I was only aware of this TTY. So let me quickly check the documentation for that. Triggered when an explanatory message about TTY input to an administrative process is sent from user space. So it's like the sudo call. I was using sudo here as a Pavel user. Is that correct? So let's check this. Sudo cat home root, or yeah, something like that. I don't know. Oh, I'm not in Pavel. Sudo cat etc plus wd or share, doesn't matter. And how about user TTY? Yeah. Oh. No, it's not that. Because this is like the different date. I'm starting to think about something. Okay, so this is me performing this stuff, and when I type the user TTY, show me every user TTY. Oh, I see this. So it should be when, so it's like sudo, but for the TTY. So for keylogging, kinda, right? Yeah. So now the question is, how do we detect this stuff? So what we can see is the two things I can see is modification of the files and the TTY events, user TTY and the TTY event happening in your auditd logs. But I see the problem with the second one. Let's say you will monitor for like appearance of this user TTY or the TTY event, and you are not expecting to see those because you have no setup, or you have setup for the particular user, and you do not expect any other. You count on them hitting your you know, your sim, and if someone has this kind of this level of access that he can modify those files, he can modify the syslet configuration files. However, this is kinda it can happen that you are not expecting to see this record type, and you appear to see it basically. So yeah, that's how it looks like. That's how we generate this kind of keylogging, and that's how maybe it will detect this. So let's see the sigma. Let's go to rules. Let's go to Linux. Let's see the built-ins. So it's like kinda related to changes to PAM files. I'm not sure whether it's already there or no. Okay, seems like we are good to go, right? So let's write something. Let's grab this for kind of template. So this is our so this is our starting with the references now. So they kind of categorize this as a credential dumping, which is, yeah, I think it's kind of fitting. How about we call it Linux key logging with PAMD. And what else we can use as references? There is also this Red Hat. The Red Hat guide I showed you last time. And we can also grab the manual page. And this is not it, but this is it, right? Let's see this. Yeah, this is something I so this is good. Something like that. And let's see the GitHub auditd rules, whether this set of rules already have the system off is not being and the second one is not being watch over pam.d. Oh, right. So he is watching the entire. Okay, so that's good. He's watching the entire directory for the changes. So this is good to know. Okay, So this part is kind of looking good. Right. How are you guys doing, by the way? Doing all right? Everything's fine? You guys studying for some certification or not? Trying to get into the cybersecurity, perhaps? SOC job? Okay, so let's use this rule, right? That was hub pool and provided by. It shouldn't be. Yeah, I don't have any rules. So let's add this rule. Nice. And it is here. And now we can search this with the key of PAM, which is here, right? This is responsible for decoding the encoded data. So like proc title records or the timestamp or the, I think UIDs. I don't remember if it's because of the switch or because of the changing log format to enriched in the audit configuration. Yeah, and this is what we are happy to see, that the configuration change was the config change record, which says that there was some change to the config of the auditd, and in the OP key tells us what happened. So we added a rule. Looks good. So let's simulate now the changes that we have made to the etc pamd password dot off. Let's use sudo for that. Let's go to the bottom. Let's add a comment, right? And to the system of, let's go to the bottom. Let's add a comment. We're good to go. And let's check what happens. Lots of events being generated by this, which is and let me tell you why. Because Vim is also creating some temporary files, and you remember that we watch for changes to the directory. Those temporary files needs to be written. So give me everything that is path, and give me the name. Of course, you could alert on this one in different case. However, we are more interested in those files. This is like the temporary, I think the buffer that Vim is doing. But this event is looking nice. see those temporary files being then deleted. This is because of Vim. Or created some temporary files. This is because we have used the Vim to do that. Okay. So this is the second one, right? Yeah. So I think that's the way to detect this, to look for the changes in those files. You find the okay, near is deprecated. Okay. Okay, this is cool. I'd like to see that in the future. Okay. I want path. And I want the name. To be one of two things. This or this. So according to the guide and documentation, you need to have both of them to trigger this. However, when I look at the, because you need to, when you create searches, and basically search is like the basic terms, search is the correlation rule, more complex or no. You need to specify the time, right? Or after one event, how much time that the engine needs to wait before the next event should happen, right? And now I'm not able to tell whether the first, because I think about ways to avoid this detection. For example, what if I change the first file today and the second file tomorrow? If I'm really want to be stealthy and persistent and don't cause much of alerts. So let's say you alert on every unauthorized modification of those files, and whether it is authorized or not, you would need to investigate. Looking for the category. Yeah, there's one. Cool. So this would be path, like path event, and we could make second one would be TTY event, something like that, and the type would be TTY or user TTY. Audit record types are also useful for this case. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, let's add another comment. Something like that, maybe? So you have this PAM, not PAM, but auditd rule, which is checking for the modification of everything in this directory, and this is going to trigger the path events for these two files. And according to the guide, you need to change 2 files. However, alerting on every change to this, I would consider worth checking. The next thing that is going to happen is that you will see the TTY events appear. As we have seen in my Red Hat. So I think it would look something like that. Well, maybe it requires some tweaks. I'm not really a big fan of sequence-based detections, which is like one event followed by another one. Why? Because those are like very specific. And you have if you have something specific, right, you are not seeing false positive, but you are going to encounter false negatives, which is the worst case scenario. Not like something has happened in your environment, but you are not detecting this. It is much better to alert on something that is not an alert. Well, it depends on the volume of those false positives. But this is kinda topic for another stream, a talk, or like podcast. There is a cool podcast that you can guys listen to. I will post it in a second. About the detection engineering. The guys that run this podcast are much more knowledgeable than me in this area. And I'm getting there. How severe is this? The changes to these files. And false positives would be administrative work. I can see the required, like some changes are required to the PAM configuration files. Which is not going to happen every day, of course. And in your environment, you should have a way to tell some kind of change management system, right? If it's a big company, that's usually how they operate, because you need to manage those changes, right? Something like that. Yeah, let me try to implement this. As you can see, I have installed new system and did not set up the GitHub repository yet. Cool stuff. Okay. Let's call it Linux auditd key logging with pamd. Cool. Let's grab this. Let's make it not low, but changes to those files are kinda important. I would make it high for now. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, almost ready, guys. Sorry for that. If you have a question, cool. Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah, so that was kind of not bad, right? So we've seen how you can enable keylogging in Linux by using living of the land methods. Let me show you once more time this. So this is the technique I was describing last time, and we perform manually, and then we try to write some detection. So like the best detection for this would be detecting the modification of the files. However, whether the even if we see that both files were modified, to tell whether this is actual keylogging, we need to check those files. So we would need the access to the machine, right, and to see the file. Or you had a keylogging of the user and you saw what he was typing on the keyboard. Yeah, but that's really keylogging to detect the keylogging. Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool stuff. Let's kind of check this. This might attack. So there is not much stuff when it comes to Linux here. This Empire software no longer supported. Interested. What is this? Okay, some imports. Okay, so this is like third-party Python script to do the keylogging. Cool. Yeah. So I think this is it. This is it, guys. Hopefully this little something is gonna be useful for you. Of course, we could like go to the Sentinel and try to make it to write this detection in the basically in the Sentinel, Microsoft Sentinel. And maybe next time we'll do it. Let's keep it like short and simple, one step at a time. So we got this Sigma rule, which is kind of fine. I'm kind of satisfied with this. Yeah. Let's go back to this screen, yeah. And guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully I will do next stream pretty soon. Trying to be more consistent and learning. The streaming is not that easy, guys. So hopefully the next time will be better, and the next time and the next time, right? So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and yeah, cheers.